Hey, welcome back. This is Florida. Man, Josh, we got some stuff to talk about today.
We have what's called a banger, ladies and gentlemen.
Every episode is a banger.
Every episode is a banger. We've got a good one today. Banger of bangers.
That's right. Before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, let us know you are here. Today we're talking about something that's very near and dear to Josh's heart. We are talking about
military PCSing.
That's right, military PCS to Florida, or more specifically Jacksonville. Now we've got multiple bases. We've got NAS Jacksonville, and then NS Mayport, right? Naval Station Mayport. So we have surface warfare, aviation warfare, and actually right up the road is Kings Bay, which is submarine. Yeah. It's in Georgia, but we do work with a lot of our sailors and shipmates who live here, and they make the commute up there.
A lot of those sub guys make the commute because there's not a lot up in Kings Bay.
That's right. So we got 3 naval bases, and then, you know, there also are, I've worked with Marines who are here. There's a Marine installation, and then there's also, you know, Florida National Guard here. So we've got F-15s out there, tons of military in this town. Josh and I are both veterans, as you may or may not know.
And so first of all, we're going to cover what is a PCS. So PCS is a permanent change of station. So if you don't already know that, you probably didn't even click the video. But basically, it is someone in the military has received orders, and them and their family are getting up and moving to a new duty station.
Yeah, so you're moving to Jacksonville. And a lot of people, you know, they plan on purchasing a home when they get here, to be honest. You know, they look at rents, they look at purchasing, and we're going to focus on the purchasing side. You've already made, we're not trying to sell you on the idea of purchasing. We're just helping you with that because there's a lot of questions and a lot of unknown. A lot of people think, hey, I need to I need to rent first so I can learn the town, and we understand that. Or I need to rent first before getting my finances in order. I can't afford to, you know, pay my rent out in California or Japan or wherever you're coming from, and also your mortgage. So we're going to cover all of that stuff today.
Yeah, and personally, it's just an unbelievably tough ask. I was an E5 in Yokohama, Japan, moving to Charleston, South Carolina. I could afford to buy a house. I had no clue what I was doing, and I wish somebody would have tapped me on the shoulder and said, shipmate, guess what? You should purchase a home instead of living in housing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of blessed because I just bounced between Mayport and Jacksonville, so I kind of stayed here the whole time. So I don't really have any cross-country move, but I do have, you know, experience of purchasing my own house here, using my VA loan, doing that wisely, and now, you know, years later, we're capitalizing on this where we own homes that are able to rent out or put tenants in them, and it's building our generational wealth. And it just started with, you know, a change in duty station. So let's get into it. You know, the first thing is that's kind of our experience with the PCS. But also I want to talk about a few success stories. So we work with a ton of veterans. We work with a ton of active duty guys. And we always try to do a best job for them. So just last week, I closed on a sale of a home. This guy's in the Navy. He's active duty. And when he moved here on orders, I helped him buy that home. So you figure he moved into his house, and then within a few years, 3 years, he's got his next orders. He's ready to move on. We put his house on the market. He was able to sell that home and netted around $50,000. So after all of his closing costs, after all of his real estate fees, all of that, he put $50,000 in his bank. Josh, had he rented for those years, how much money would he put in his pocket?
Zero.
And
we would have negative $24,000, give or take.
Right. When you get your mortgage, yes, it can fluctuate, you know, here or there a little bit if you change insurance plans, if taxes change, that kind of thing. But it's not changing necessarily drastically. Yeah. However, when you sign a 12-month lease, when it's time for your lease next year, it's usually bumped up 100 to 150. And then the third year, it bumps up another 150. So from day one to the end of it, you might be paying $300 to $500 more monthly to live in the same place, where when you purchase a home, you're paying the same, putting money in your pocket.
And you leave with nothing. And bottom line is, hey, you know, personally, I feel passionate about this because not only I literally was in those shoes, the boots, shoes, whatever. I come from a military family, so my parents PCS'd a ton. I've done it a few times, and those stories. I think last week we closed Hunter, who had an unbelievably good deal, unbelievable situation, and I don't even know how old he is, like 25.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
Yeah, he's from Nate's old rescue swimmer shop. And these are the slam dunks. These are the stories that I feel good about. Go have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Love helping young sailors. Absolutely.
From the time that I introduced him to Josh, and we did his pre-approval to the day we closed. How many days was that?
17.
Super easy. You guys, as long as you don't have those big truck payments and you're not blowing money on your credit card, we can get it done in 2 weeks' time.
Literally saying hello to me on the phone. 17 days later, Hunter was sitting at a closing table with a bottle of Josh champagne in front of him.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing about that, Josh. The house we closed for Hunter, that was his purchase. The first story I told you about happened to be in the same neighborhood. It was a guy around the corner. So we already know what Hunter's future is. Should he decide to keep that house forever, he'll be able to rent it out if he PCS somewhere, or he can sell it and put money in his pocket and roll that into his next property wherever he's going. So It's a success story from day one, just knowing what the future holds for them. So super excited. Let's get into...
Before that, Nate, and I want to really hammer home, like, I want to find a way to intervene in that E5 who doesn't know how to purchase a home. And the main reason for that is, imagine if I purchased a home when I moved to Charleston in 2012.
Yeah, imagine.
It would have been 120 grand back then, probably $500,000 today.
Yeah.
That could be you. It wasn't me. I hope it's you.
So let's look at the timeline, because a lot of people don't really know, when do they start the process, Josh? When are we starting? Do we wait till we move to Jacksonville and get an Airbnb for a couple months, or do we purchase a home 12 months in advance, or when we get there? When do we do it? So
we're talking about military folks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit you with a military acronym here. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Why would you move and then try to look for a house? That's stupid. You're setting yourself up to fail. Come on.
Absolutely. You're most likely going to sign either a short-term lease, which is astronomical monthly fee, or you're going to sign that 12-month lease. So now you're kind of locked in. And by that point, you're already a year into your 3-year thing. And so you're not going to be able to get that equity out when you sell or you move or you rent. So we all know you're going to get your soft orders. So your verbal orders, you start shopping for where you're going next, 8 to 12 months out.
And we're saying a lot of this, we've got a lot of military spouses maybe who don't necessarily know this, and maybe it's a first-time PCS, or maybe it's a young sailor who's never done it before and they're too scared to ask at the command. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So as soon as you get those soft orders, you're going to want to reach out to us, even if it's a year in advance. We're going to take a look at what you have. This is when you start, thinking, okay, what am I going to need to pay off? What did I miss a payment? Do I need to make sure I'm tight on those payments over the next 12 months?
So what's my credit score? There's plenty of time. If verbals or hard copy orders, that'll come 5-6 months. That is plenty of time to fix some credit issues. If you've got a credit issue and that's what's stopping you, or you just have no clue, let's find out. Let's pop the hood and see what's going on.
That's it. You can get on my website and you can start searching for homes. However, we're not going to be going to see them or anything. It's just for you to get an idea of neighborhoods and areas, and we can start having those conversations.
The conversations you're going to have with me is preparing for that monthly payment. Hey, are you comfortable with this? If you're comfortable with X amount per month, then your price range should probably be somewhere in here.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So then once you get closer and you get your actual hard orders, like you're 5 to 6 months out from making your move, we know, like, hey, you are in fact coming here. So we do in fact need to find you a place.
You will have to live here.
That's it. So now we start getting serious about the online search, previewing properties. I'm going to do a whole buyer consultation with you, and I'm going to make sure that we know what type of home you need and want, and we're getting that search to you. And then as we get closer, we're about 3 months out. At 3 months out, we're probably going to do the full
That's when we're going to need to, we're going to need to make sure that if we haven't already gotten buttoned up for that pre-qualification, we need to get it at about that point. 2 or 3 months, you need to have that pre-qual in hand. And there's a lot of reasons here, Nate. So life is happening to you. If you are PCSing and you are 2 or 3 months out, a lot is going on. You've got the movers coming. Oh my goodness. One time when I moved from Charleston to Jacksonville, the movers literally packed the diaper genie with dirty diapers in it.
Put it in there.
So if you've been through it, they come in and grab everything. You've got a clipboard and you're watching all your stuff get loaded into a truck. You're moving to a city that maybe you've never been to before. Your husband or you are checking in and out of a command that you've never been to before.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Also, you've been watching the market for about 9 months, and we've been communicating on what your wants and needs are. So from 3 months out, if we see the house that is the house, it's time to pull the trigger on that house.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit closer, but you're going to take your house hunting leave. You're going to come here. We're going to go out and we're going to physically look at those houses in that time period. And if you're ready, that's it. Now, all right, so you might be saying to yourself, well, hold on a second. I can't make that purchase and still be paying my rent or my final month's payment to my sale in Virginia or San Diego. I can't carry 2 properties at the same time.
Yeah, and like I said, hey, we've both been there. You are trying to pay all of your living expenses with your BAH, of course.
We got it.
Why wouldn't you?
So let's just make it easy and let's say January. We know that's probably not the time period, but let's say you're not moving in until April 1st. Those are your check-in day, right? Check-in no later than
You'll be at
April
the command. Your
1st.
Your uniform will be nice and tight. Your boots will be shined up.
So you got January, February, March. You got those time periods to check, right, to buy a house. That's your final 3 months. You're probably going to take a month off, so you're probably going to be here in March. So you're leaving your old command in February. If we go out house shopping in January and you're like on January 1, you're like, I've got to have this house. And we write that contract. Remember, your standard contract is 30 days. So it's not going to close till February anyways. And we might be able to do a 45 or a 60-day contract depending on what the exact needs are of you and the seller. You're kind of meeting in the middle, right? So we put a contract on it in January. It closes, say, February 15th. So when is our first payment?
First payment, we close February 15th. We're going to skip March, and our first payment is going to be in April.
That's it. So you're not going to be carrying 2 properties. So essentially, you can close out your property wherever you're coming from in February, and then in March, you have no payment, but you're living in your house already because you closed on it.
We are talking to sailors. Let's do some scenarios here. Talking to sailors. All right. So what if I close June 15th? When's my first payment?
June 15th. June, we're going to skip July, August 1st.
Whoa. What about...
When do you get the keys, though?
Oof. All right, what if I close
June 15th.
December on Christmas Day? What if the title company's open and close December 25th?
First payment, February 1st.
Woo! We could do this all day, folks.
That's all day.
Doesn't matter what month, you're going to skip the next one.
So you're going to be able to do that. You're going to
Stack
be able
the
to move your
BAH.
stuff. And guess what? It's hectic enough moving. You're moving your family. You're moving all your stuff. Let us handle the rest. Let us figure out the numbers, figure out the timelines, and you get sleep at night.
Get some sleep. You can worry about your diaper genie not getting packed so that we can worry about, number 1, making sure you're comfortable with the financing of your home, and number 2, you're comfortable with that home. You're ready to go. When you put boots on deck in Florida, your wife, your husband are living in that house. Your family's there. You know where you're sleeping at night. We've got it settled for you.
That's it.
Back to the timeline. 8 to 12 months, you should be having those orders. Start calling us. Start forming your team. 5 to 6 months, you should have some hard copy orders. That's the time to get everything right that isn't already there. If you're AJ squared away, we still need to talk and make sure. Now, 2 to 3 months, we need to make sure we have a pre-qual in hand, and you are working hard with Nate to find exactly what you are looking for within your price range. Where does that take us?
That's it. And then we're got contract to close. We got a whole team that takes it from there, gets you across the finish line.
Then in 3 years, we talk again and we make a decision about what you want to do. Do you want to rent this place out? You want to sell it?
Add it to your
portfolio. Getting out of the
portfolio?
Navy, getting out of the Marine Corps, whatever.
Put money in your pocket. Which one?
What we're doing is giving ourselves options. So
That's it.
if you're living in housing, hey man, I don't know how many options you have after 3 years. Get out.
Hey, if you're PCSing to Jacksonville or Northeast Florida, Mayport, Jacksonville, Kings Bay, or any of the military installations here, go to nateriggsofficial.com and register there. I'll reach out to you. My team will reach out to you. Josh is going to get in contact with you. Also, you can hit us up on our cell phones.
Absolutely anytime. 904-563-4651.
That's right, 904-599-8409. Don't hesitate. Call today, like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, we look forward to talking.